won't fight, chasing shadows in the night. Promises made, but I let them fade. Caught in the cycle, I'm feeling betrayed. Round and round, I'm losing ground. Trying to break free, but I can't see. These negative patterns are haunting me. Nights turn to days, I'm losing my way. Thought I found peace, but it's led me astray. Chasing the high, but it only brings pain. The more I run, the less I gain.
Hey everybody, hey, and welcome to another session of Tarka Said Again. And we have a guest in the office today, and her name is Shak Castille-Jones. Now, she is a former professional volleyball player. How are you?
Yes, I'm good. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Yes. She's going to share her story with us today. And you know, as always, we tie in any and everything back to addictive patterns. We say it can be positive, negative, and we know that addiction itself, it thrives from repetition. So does skill mastery, right? So with her particular sport, they're known for serving, digs, spiking, yes. So you've heard the saying where practice makes perfect. And that's exactly when we talk about these various sports, because we've been on this sports series. But that's exactly what's going on. Repetition, repeated behaviors and patterns, things to help with the success of their sport. I'm passing it to you.
Yes.
And if you could just give us some background knowledge.
Of course.
All right.
I'm from the city of Chicago.
Okay.
Born on the west side.
West
The little
side,
W's up,
okay.
you know. But I feel like I would say most of my upbringing was inspired by the south suburb and the south side. That energy. Those that know. Chicago Heights, I would say, is where I grew up as a young child the longest, but I definitely moved around the city. So I've gotten some flavor from many different parts of the Chicagoland area. And I think that definitely helped in the development of who I became or who I am as an athlete and who I am now.
Okay.
Definitely. Actually, I started playing really late in life.
Yep, that's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
Was it high school, middle school?
I mean, I feel like we all probably had like volleyball and gym in middle school because I can faintly remember it, but I was a tomboy.
Okay.
So whatever that allowed me to run or push or throw, I was doing it. So I don't recall like gravitating toward it. It was just one of those sports that I probably played when I was younger. But when I actually focused on wanting to play it, it was high school.
Okay.
And in that sport, and most sports, if you want to take it, to college even, you normally want to start in middle school because, that's where a lot of kids start playing at. But I started in high school. I started volleyball my second year of high school. So everybody I was playing with had been playing club, AAU.
Yeah.
So I was behind the 8 ball, but that tomboy maybe really helped develop my athleticism. So, and just kind of playing in the streets, how we did growing up. We played outside. So, but yeah, I started taking it serious in high school. I was a 3-sport athlete.
Okay.
In high school.
Triple threat.
Sleep in class, AKA. That's what that means.
Okay.
So I played softball, basketball in high school, and I started off as a cheerleader because I could flip. Back then there wasn't gymnastics. That didn't work because they wanted me to hike my skirt up, and I was like, I'm not ready for that. So quit that, and then my godmother was like, you need to play volleyball. How tall are you? You're like 5'8". As a freshman, like play volleyball. So I started playing that second year. I quit cheerleading. I tried cheerleading that first year, played volleyball the second year. Believe it or not, after those 3 years, I had scholarship offerings to multiple sports at multiple levels. Yeah, and I really was ignorant to like D1, HBCUs even. I was just kind of like, whatever, I just want to go to college so I can make some money, get out the hood, kind of vibe, help my people, like whatever, what's going to take me there, whatever, And then I started to realize, though, I started going on visits to colleges, and I was like, okay, this is kind of important, where you go, but no one put that on me to make me really understand, like, the importance of like, where you go, or what you're focusing on when you choose where you're going.
And that's key that you're bringing that out, because you think back years back, it wasn't like that. I think everything now is at your fingertips, literally. And they have the education out there. So there's no reason for you to be oblivious or
really isn't.
Not be aware of the options and the availability that's out there. So that's key, that you mentioned that.
It is. You literally right now can go to AI and say, give me a 10-step process. Go to college or get a scholarship, and you can at least get some nuggets. But yeah, it was way different then. So I guess I can jump to choosing to stay in Chicago to go to college, which was not the goal at first. I really was like, I'm going to California, playing volleyball in California. Let's get it. Or basketball, whichever one. I was trying to play both, really. And so most schools I spoke to was about playing both sports. And so the school in Chicago I ended up deciding on was Chicago State University. They initially were like, yeah, you can play both sports. And so I was like, okay, cool. And so by the time I got there, it changed after that first year. So the first year of college, I played basketball, volleyball. I was on a full volleyball scholarship.
Okay.
They were going to split it at first, and then volleyball reneged and was like, nah, we just want you to play volleyball.
Okay.
So you gonna pay?
They offered full.
Yeah, they did.
Okay.
So I played those two sports, and then I ended up playing track and field, doing track and field, doing field events for track and running.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm like, I wasn't trying to go to college and play 3 sports. Oh, but that's what happened. And I couldn't really play basketball after that first year of college because the full scholarship came from volleyball. They didn't want any injuries. That's fine. But I was that extra count for track and field. So I still was doing like high jump, long jump, triple jump. If they needed some running just to get points, sure, I'll jump in and do that. But it was a whirlwind doing all that stuff. And I had a part-time job in college.
Oh my gosh, you was doing a lot, honey.
The most. But it paid off.
Right.
After 4 years of playing D1 volleyball, and still doing track for 3 years, basketball for that first year as well, I ended up being offered an opportunity to play out of the country. Ooh. And at that time, America didn't have what you would call a pro league. Like we have a pro league now, which is great.
Things are changing.
I know. I'm so happy, especially for women, women's sports and athletes and stuff. So I've been an advocate for that forever, obviously.
Right.
But, so we didn't have pro league here, so you had to leave the country to go play in other countries. And that's what I did. That wasn't a goal. That was God.
Right.
Okay. Right. And the fact that I feel like I really believe my obedience to like just really always giving my all in training. We always use the term go the extra mile in sports. And so I just bought in, and so going that extra mile, when in my mind, like I said at the beginning, I felt like I was behind the 8 ball because everybody started so much earlier. So my knowledge of the game was very premature, but my instincts obviously were great for it. So I was able to leave the country, and at that same time, I also was offered an opportunity to be the coach for the team I just played on.
Nice.
So yes. So at that
time, like a full circle.
Full circle. Yes. I would say sure, I can get how it's a full circle, how it can seem like that, but the reason I would kind of hesitate to say that is because I didn't even coach before.
Okay. But they're saying your skill set.
The skill set, I suppose. But they were in need, and I was like, I have like a savior complex. So I was like, okay, I can do this, While I was still finishing school because issues with like the major that I was in and accreditation. So I switched, so they added more time, blah, blah, blah. It happens. But so I went abroad, played, and it was such a blessing. I got the job as a coach, and they asked me to help like be an interim and filling because the head coach was having some personal issues. And so I said yes to that while simultaneously being asked to go play abroad. So the school, Chicago State University, which I'm very proud of on the south side of Chicago, King Drive and 95th.
Okay.
Little plug there. They allowed me to keep my job as a coach and go play overseas.
Wow.
I know. It was
and
such
the
a blessing.
timing.
It was such a blessing. Oh my gosh. So I went to do that. I was trying to recruit from the computer and I was in Indonesia first.
Mm-hmm.
In Jakarta, Indonesia, where they have Barack Obama everywhere because he used to live there.
Okay.
So that was fun to just kind of be in the midst of that. He wasn't president at the time, but Barack Obama had some ties out there in Indonesia.
Okay.
Nonetheless, yeah, he was president later. So I was in Indonesia, played in Asia mostly. So Indonesia, China, and Japan were the main countries. But I played in many other countries. Played beach volleyball too. So,
nice. So you wear your bikini and stuff like that? You got to have it together to be able to do that.
You got that right, yes. So I felt like I found my home with beach because I could just do everything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Two of us can do everything that would have taken 6 people before. So it was a good fit, you know, running around the sand, being outside. I think I'm very much so accustomed to working with no walls and no ceilings. Amen.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess that's the nutshell. And I guess the real full circle it from just the coaching after I finished my normal 4 years, went abroad, and then I came back and I did keep coaching. So I coached at several different universities at different levels and has had some success at every level. I've worked with all kind of community organizations. I've had camps, clinics, classes, working with other groups, doing them myself, you know, for years. So it's definitely been full circle in the sense of coming from where I came from and then being able to have all the experience I've had because of what I learned.
Right.
Be useful in what I give back.
Right.
So it's definitely been full circle.
Would you say as a professional athlete that you faced any challenges, you know, what might have been maybe one of your biggest challenges on your journey as a professional athlete?
Absolutely. With that, again, no one is guiding this, right? We all, I feel it's important that we all have some counseling or some mentorship, or once you hit the pros, an agent that really cares and, you know, kind of can understand where you're from and not just looking to benefit off you, which is hard to find. So in saying that, I would say one of the biggest challenges at the very beginning was having an agent that didn't deliver on what would normally be expected, although I didn't demand those expectations because I didn't know I needed to.
Correct.
So you're paying this person,
right.
You know, as soon as you get paid, they're getting paid. And so you're kind of starting to figure out okay, what am I paying you for again?
Okay.
You know, for communications that I could probably do or you could do better, you know. So that was a huge hurdle because I was in a country where the coach didn't speak English. Some of the people spoke English here and there, the first country. But I had to eventually learn to operate in a place where you don't speak the same language as somebody. And I quickly used my Chicago aggression and fearlessness to say, okay, I need to negotiate something else here. I need to make sure I have a ride. I need the driver to speak English. I need a translator in practice. I need these different things that I started to realize. Still, I have no one who's done this. So I had no one who I could really say can you help me with this experience? So it was really most things in life is just hard, learning along the way, learning as you go. But that was one of the biggest, I would say, challenges was that agent part and making sure I had what I need so I could be successful in a foreign place.
Right.
You know, and having that, not when we're in the midst of trying to play and I have demands on me, but having that under control before I get there, when I get there at the very latest. So that's a huge hurdle.
So I heard you mention as far as having translators and various things during practice. What did your training look like for you on that level?
It changed. So every country is different, right? Every culture has its own philosophy behind how to strengthen whatever you need to strengthen for that sport, for volleyball, specifically for this. So I'll start with the first country because that new first experience is always a culture shock. So actually, going to Indonesia and playing there, first of all, they literally do jump over bamboo sticks, back then at least, right? Ooh. I know, and I was in the gym, is that a bamboo stick they holding up? I thought we were going to do the little thing. I was what is happening? And these fools out there jumping over sticks. So I was okay. And I mean fools endearingly.
Yeah. Endearment.
Endearingly, okay. So, that was interesting. And then they did some some different exercises where someone's holding your leg beneath your knees and they're facing your leg.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to squat down to the ground, lay down on the ground, come back on the ground, and stand back up.
Oh, and stand back up.
Huh?
I
was like, wait, how are we doing this? What muscle is that working? Because I had a bum knee too a little bit. But so that was interesting. And then, of course, when you're in a different place, you know, the food is different.
Yeah.
So I was blessed that my first team was owned by the police academy or police lead department. So there was a lot of money, I guess, you know, out there. And so we had a nice place to live. We had good trainers, and then we had like a house where all the players are, where we all ate in the cafeteria.
Okay.
And the ladies that I'm assuming run the house, they would make us fresh fish, you know, the whole fish fried, you know, fresh rice, everything was just fresh. It was great. Oh my gosh, I really enjoyed that part. And then I learned they don't use silverware. So I was in heaven myself because I like eating with my hands.
Oh, I'm thinking you about to give me the chopsticks.
No, we didn't even have chopsticks in Indonesia. No, we were eating with our hands, and it was great. I was in heaven. I was like, yeah. The only thing, though, okay, this is the other thing, too. Okay. Countries like that, they don't have commodes all the time. I did it in my home, but in some public places, there is literally a hole in the floor and a bucket.
Oh, yeah.
And a spray hose.
That would be a culture shock.
So that's... I did go with tissue, though. I was told to do that. So I didn't really have a big issue often. Sometimes I did. But then when you have that concept, when you do it the first time, use your hand to, you know, use the bathroom. Okay. You don't want to eat with your hand.
Correct.
Anymore.
Correct. Okay.
So I was struggling with that at first. And I was like, come on, we got to get over this. You know, when in Rome.
Yeah.
You know.
Listen, I love having these conversations because you learn, and especially when you're able to give a visual, creating imagery for those that have never experienced that.
Correct. Yeah.
So, but can you share a time when like teamwork, when that made a difference in, say, a match or something?
Okay, I feel like volleyball, any sport, but volleyball, the sport we're speaking of, is one of those absolute team sports, meaning like when the ball is served from the other team and your team is receiving it, everyone really has a very strong identifiable role in each step of the touching of the ball. So you're only allowed 3 touches, right, before the ball has to be sent back over, right? So that first touch is usually to guide it to a person, to the female volleyball, that is going to set up, which is called a set up the next player. Yeah. You know, so I can't hit a ball if she don't set me the ball, and she can't set me the ball if you don't pass her the ball. So that's why I like I said, I played multiple sports, but I really started to gravitate toward volleyball as I started to understand the concept of how to be successful in it as a player, you know, and then I had to piggyback that with, as a coach, when you're looking at players, how do you be successful? And I was kind of learning all that the hard way with no real mentorship, you know, trial and error. But as far as to answer your question, like in some of those places that I've been, it really just boiled down, because we're pros now, right? Where everybody's getting paid. You get paid in college, but not like they do now. You're getting your scholarship paid for, but in the pros, you're getting a check when you win.
So you would get extra if you won.
Matter of fact, that was part of what so when I released the agent, I literally had to take over the communications, which was very difficult with the league and the coach and stuff like that, which is why I was so demanding of a translator. I was trying to stick with the agent, and he's still cool, even to this day. Like, I send players. But I had to negotiate a bonus opportunity when we won, and I asked for it in USD. Because the first time I got paid, it was not in USD. Right. And I was like, I don't know about this, right? I didn't know the translation or anything like that yet. You know, as far as the currency, I didn't know, you know, and I had to kind of figure it out. So anyway, that was one of the things I negotiated, actually. It's like when we won, or when I understood like what the goals were, and if we reached them and I was a part of it, then pay me for it. And they did. I thought that was wild, because I was really shooting in the dark. Like, just try to be confident and act like you know what you're talking about.
That helps.
Oh man, that went a long way. So that did happen. I was like, especially after that first season, I really took it on seriously, like going to the library, trying to understand. For me, if I can understand the origin, like why it started and how it can be successful, then I can try to put a plan together. All of us, right? So I started to really understand this term agent. And I was like, oh man, this person was supposed to be doing more. I was right about that at least, but if I only knew how to make the demands, right? Or just meet in the middle, have an understanding. But just to say, hey, can I be your agent? Yeah, sure. You know, without no understanding, it was crazy. That was wild. But I thought I needed that, just like I thought I needed, like you need a visa, I thought I needed an agent. And I did, because I don't know nobody over there, right? So I did initially. So anyway.
It just seemed like it forced you to kind of be your own, because you realized there were some things you were lacking.
Yes.
Some things you had to take care of as the pro athlete, which should not have been. And I think that's a key point, y'all, because for all you professional athletes that are out there, I feel that you should check behind who you're paying to work on your behalf.
Absolutely.
Like how we have attorneys as a business owner. Check, double check, question. You know, don't automatically assume that the situation is being taken care of or they're in your best interest at all times because you're paying them. No, you might have to pay somebody else to watch them.
That's right.
So
you're right about that. No, seriously. Seriously. So
I
learned that. I don't like learning the hard way too.
No.
I've always been a person that's like, just tell me.
Yeah.
I will listen.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to waste time.
Right.
That was my biggest thing. But, you know, God had other plans. So I've been trying my best to be as obedient as possible to what he gives me, you know, in every way, shape, or form.
Right.
As best I can.
And I know since you've had that experience, you're giving back to the youth and doing different things. You want to share a little bit?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
What you have going on, the website?
Yes, absolutely. Okay. With the giving back part, I mean, that started early. I think just that community, really, I think any sport, but for sure volleyball and where I was coming from, the coaches always are going to pull on you to go help with their camp or something, or go help with some kind of clinic or something, especially once you hit the college level. So it started to be instilled in the routine anyway. And so once I actually finished and then came back from being a pro player and going back and forth and doing that from indoor to beach, then I started to get some notoriety in the community. And you got to take advantage of that, you know. So I would go, many communities in Chicago, I would go in and just say, let me do a free weekend thing, or let me do a 4-week class here to teach the fundamentals. And I did that. Then I started getting with other organizations that did it too. They would hire me to do it. So that's really kicked off me really working with like communities in general. When I say communities, I'm working with the kids, the adults, and the older adults. So, and the special Paralympics type of individuals that may not be able to walk or stand and stuff like that. Olympic, I think that's how you say it. It's been a while since I've had to say that. So I can't think of the right terminology, but the sport most people see that in is the Paralympics.
Okay.
So that's why I'm using that. And like now, so my career, I was really deep into volleyball. Then I started doing other sports and just started doing events for other sports and volleyball, but just doing sporting events in general. And then I started working with communities anyway when you're doing that, and then it started to lean more into working with communities because of many of the nonprofit companies I had been working with, because I just wanted to be involved in like developing people, you know, in some kind of way. So fast forward to now, like I would say I'm more leaning in the community, doing more community work than I am like sports work, but I'm always involved in sports to some degree. I'll be kicking off some different events coming up, some sporting events that are for the same goals I've always had for kids and adults. I'm pro social leagues, like adult leagues, and I'm pro social leagues for kids. Like just another, the whole like the village raises a kid concept, just another arm in that where it's like, okay, if they come with me for volleyball, I'm gonna make sure they leave with the things you want them to have instilled in them, you know, and just kind of be a advocate and a support for that in any way within the community. So that's where I'm at now. Just focusing on what in my lane can I contribute to in a community. You know, we know sports. I know I'm going to help in sports in some way, but now it's evolved for sure. it's evolved. Yeah.
Well, to sum up, what would be some advice that you would give to the young, aspiring athletes that want to be in your profession?
Okay, there's so many things I would say, but I think for the sake of time, I would say, whatever it is you're going to do, if it's sports, if it's volleyball, just put your all into it. Be great at it. And it's not about being better than somebody else. It's about being the best you in it. Mm-hmm. And so often, we come from the YOLO, you only live once, and I did this by myself. My mentality, and it's not true. I've not seen any human being do anything by themselves. Yeah. Like not anything great. Like by themselves. No. To some degree, somebody helped in some way, somewhere. Mm-hmm. So whatever you do, I would just say, do it to the best of your ability. Be proud of whatever it is you contribute. And if you're not proud of what you contribute, work on being better at what you contribute, because that's all you can control. So hopefully that helps.
Well, you heard it right from Miss Castille-Jones, better known or AKA Shak. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And we would like to thank you all for tuning in. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe on YouTube, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. Have a good one.
Take care.